This week on Dumb Pitches, my guest is Yogi Paliwal, and he's got a lot of ideas. I wouldn't even say they're all bad ideas. Very interesting. He wants kids to not go to school and just play video games all the time. And we're going to end the whole episode with some nut butter, which sounds gross, but it's delicious. It's pecan butter. You're going to learn a lot this episode, I honestly think. It's very fun. Here we go. Dumb Pitches.
What a bunch of dumb pitches. Oh my goodness.
Welcome to another episode of Dumb Pitches with Monica Nevi. I'm Monica Nevi, your host. This is the show where we talk to successful people about their worst ideas. I'm very excited for our guest in studio, good friend of mine, all the way from New York City. Yogi Paliwal is here.
Hey,
There
good to
he
be
is.
here. Very happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm happy you're here.
Thank you for having me. I drove in
course.
from Portland today. This is my driving outfit.
I was wondering that actually, if you wore that on purpose for this, or that's just what you wore this morning, or I was thinking about it. It's because it's very nice. It's a good
the
outfit.
jersey's for you, but
Okay.
the bandana's for the road.
You're
Let's put
like,
it that way.
Monica, sports girl.
Well, I want to look like I'm kind of presentable. People in the streets were like, "Why are you wearing that today? It's 90 degrees
I
outside."
did think that.
Yeah.
I was like, we got long
No,
pants,
this was
long sleeves.
this was in the passenger seat, and I was like, "I'll put this on when I get to the studio. I'm not wearing this
Oh, good. Okay.
out and about." No,
That's
no.
what we talked about last week, how it's the time of year where you can accidentally see a knee every once in a while.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Because I'm wearing shorts. But I have a show tonight after this. Not after this. That would be at 2 p.m. But so I'm staying up here and just working on stuff.
Nice.
But so I brought other pants. Because you can't
Sure.
wear shorts on stage. I don't know if people
Sure.
knew that. Yogi's also a stand-up comic. Usually let me start giving people your good ideas so they know you haven't only had bad ideas and you are legal to be here.
Legal?
Allowed to be here based on the criteria of the show. No. Hilarious stand-up comedian. You have 2 stand-up albums.
That's right.
You've performed a bumper shoot, Sasquatch, things like that. You have your own podcasts. Had your own podcast. There's one that and I'm trying not to say this to make this sound shitty about maybe the rest of our friends, but sometimes when your friends do podcasts, you're like, oh, I'll check it out sometimes or something like that. You had a podcast called Grub Stakers, which was very well researched, and I felt like I learned a lot. And then kind of your role was always comic relief for me, at least. And I actually really liked listening to that podcast.
Thanks. Yeah, no, it was a life labor. It was a podcast about whether or not billionaires are useful, and the answer is no.
Turned out no. Yeah.
And I helped build that show. It was a great project while it lasted, and it still exists. The show is no longer making episodes, but the catalog is still up.
Yeah, that is one you can go back to because it's a lot of information about a different billionaire each time.
Yeah, there's like we did an episode on this South Asian billionaire Joe Low, and I wasn't on the episode, but it was the other 3 guys, and 2 of them are not well versed with hip hop as much as I am. But it was just found out that one of the members of the Fugees was an informant for this billionaire, and so I miss doing the show for these type of things where it's like, oh my gosh,
we could talk
about
it.
like,
Yeah.
so there's so many. Look, billionaires are corrupt, and you can talk about them endlessly, and I did for 4 years, and it legally made me insane.
See, I'm getting into all the legal stuff here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so podcasts, I mean, you also have done like short film stuff and things like that. So you've had plenty of ideas. You followed through on quite a few of them, and I enjoy it. So there's a diverse catalog of things that you've done that are good ideas. Not necessarily what we're here for, but
I do want to mention one thing real quick. I used to do a podcast called The Origin of Words. It was very brief. It was like for a small network out here in I think 2012, and I would just riff a fake definition for a word. That was the entire podcast. It was like a 2-minute long thing. And one of the episodes for the word fart, somebody stole and put on YouTube and like sped up my voice and added like funny captions. Well, I don't care. It was a podcast where I'm riffing.
Well, yeah, but I think now when you steal stuff, you speed it up so that it doesn't recognize
That's
it.
fair.
Right? Which
yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't like copywritten
It was
at the time.
it was
but
for Voodoo Chicken's network Comedy Web. There was no way they were gonna find out. But I was
Or
so
care.
honored someone stole it. Like you
Yeah.
have no idea how I was like, oh my goodness, I did this in my
know.
parents'
I wish
bedroom.
people would steal stuff more. I've had it happen on TikTok a couple times where people will be like doing
Calling you up and annoying
in the
you,
middle
of course.
podcasting.
Yeah, I know. These TikTokers, that's all they do.
be doing like an act out to my joke, but then change the audio name so it's not mine, you know,
Sure,
stuff
sure,
like that.
yeah.
Which you don't know for months until somebody finally
Like, hey,
who knew
did
me
you see this?
saw it
Yeah,
and
yeah,
tagged
right,
it or
right,
whatever. And then you go through the comments. Yeah, this woman had like 400,000 views on a video, my like Disney movie, Disney princess joke. And so she's like dressing up, which honestly flattered.
Sure.
It was, you know, effort in the dressing up and stuff, but so many of the comments were like, who's the original comic? Because they could tell it wasn't her voice.
Sure,
it was
of course.
me, right?
Yeah.
And she would never answer it. But then every time someone was like, oh my gosh, you're so funny, she was like, thank you. And so then people, like other comics, saw it and started being like, this is Monica. So.
Yeah, I am.
But keep doing it, you know, I got some followers from it.
I mean, you know, it's look, the internet is the Wild West still, and at some point it's going to be moderately regulated, and we're going to look at this time and go, used to be good back then.
Man, we was back in those
Remember
days.
E-Bombs World?
Yeah. Yes,
Think
I
about,
do.
Think about buying a Kaza sweatshirt these days. Let people know I was one of the original pirates.
I was really thinking about so there's a writer's strike going on if you're not paying attention to.
This is the strike that artists can no longer have writers in their contract.
Yeah, that's it. We're getting out of that. No green M&Ms or whatever.
That's right.
Yeah. No, the writers, the WGA, the Writers Guild Association, right? Yeah.
You're right.
Is striking just based on streaming revenue and that the streaming companies are making a lot more than they should, billionaires, right? And that the writers deserve more, fine. But it makes you think about so many other parts of art that are taken advantage like that. And I was just thinking of the internet and how much, like, I know we should be like, I'm not giving my shit away for free, but you almost can't function as an artist now getting people to come and see you without doing it. So you have to give it away. Like, there's no, like, I was just thinking about how ridiculous, because I've monetized some stuff on like Instagram or whatever, and how small that
pie is.
money is for, and how just awful that I was just, it made me think about it more. And of course, if I was famous, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not posting shit on here.
Yeah, you don't give a fuck.
You don't get my stuff. You have to come and see it or buy it or whatever. But because I was so offended, we're getting off topic. I don't know what the topic is, but I was so offended because you said Gaza. When music artists sued, big music artists. It was like Justin Timberlake and stuff sued because they were...
Trent Reznor, the Metallica guy. I remember was
people
raging against it. Yeah.
They weren't getting money from people downloading. And at the time, I believed the propaganda of people being like, they're already so rich. Why does it matter? Not considering that there's other artists that are being taken advantage of. And now I'm like, I'm so sorry that I'm
sure.
Now
you're on the other end of things. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. I mean, it's shitty.
It's interesting. I do think that at that time, if you went to Sam Goody or Circuit City or any music store, Tower Records,
my favorite music store,
Circuit
Sam
City.
Goody.
I couldn't think of any.
That's okay.
But like
I forgot Circuit City
a CD was,
thing,
you know, $15-$30 sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And I agree with you that the ability to steal and or get entertainment for free cheapens it for the artist. However, I do also think, though, that in that period, every musician got such a larger fan base because the access to music became universal.
Yeah.
If you had the internet, you could learn about an artist. And the song "It Wasn't Me" by Shaggy,
which I did have that whole album.
It blew up because of online Kaza Napster days. Some guy in Hawaii was a DJ, and he picked it up from a random stream or online. He downloaded it illegally and put it on the radio, and Hawaii was like, "This is our stuff." Yeah, and can I swear on this? I swear a moment ago, and I was like, "Am I supposed to?"
Have I not sworn yet? Sorry.
I don't think you have. Can
well,
you do it?
Fuck.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, now I can finally say poop. Okay. Anyway, off topic, but. Yeah, I do. I'm conflicted, but I personally right now am trying to not post stuff for free,
Yeah.
and it's not working. But I do think that as long as I just keep at my grind and be funny on stage, and people are like, that person's good, we should try and see that, then the markup for when someone wants to see me is no longer just on their phone, and it's no, I have to pay money to see that.
Yeah, that's good. And also, I feel like the person who sees you in person is going to be more invested than if they scrolled past and saw you briefly.
I think so.
I know that because I just sell the best thing for me going back to a city to sell more tickets is if I've already been there once.
Yeah. 100%.
That's
and that's this tour I'm on, Align with No Pride, is 100% me meeting faces, shaking hands, and another one of my good ideas, travel the country by car and be a touring comedian.
Did you drive all the way over here?
Yeah, oh yeah, we drove.
Wow,
yeah.
nice.
It's my driving outfit, remember?
That's true. I just didn't know.
You
if
just
it was
thought
from
you
Portland,
just thought I was
maybe.
driving here from
Yeah,
my
I
parents'
don't
place. When I'm driving from Bellevue to Seattle,
No,
I got to
that's
put a
not what I
bandana
thought.
on. Let the people know in 206
Yeah,
425
in
still
case you
represent.
Mad Max breaks out. Okay.
All right, let's get into some
good.
these some good ideas.
Yeah.
Fun catching up with you.
Okay, that's not
I
what
love
we're
you forever.
here
You're
for,
great.
though.
Let's
Yes.
talk about some bad ideas though.
Yes, let's hear some of your.
All
bad
right, here's
ideas.
my
What do you think?
first bad idea. Okay, it's insoles for your shoes
Okay.
that connect to an app, and there's a scale. It tells you how much you weigh.
Just all the time.
Just all the time. you're at dinner, like, hey, you want dessert? It's like, you know what? Nah, you know what? The scale's actually. I don't want to.
This is interesting because some people are very anti-scale, right?
That's
They
right.
don't
Yes.
want to see the number
That's
ever,
right.
and it's just about how you feel and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I am the opposite, where I do want to know.
Yeah.
I do need to be. I suppose I can get obsessive about it, but not enough to be like an issue. So I
good
try
for
to
you.
keep it once a week, same time,
Sure,
same
that's
day,
smart,
that
yeah.
kind of thing,
Yeah, yeah.
once a week. My dad weighs himself every morning,
Mhm.
so a lot of people do it differently, and some people never weigh themselves. So this would probably be for a person who was interested / motivated by that
Yes. And
in a safe way.
I
But-
just feel that when you have a scale, especially in the bathroom and stuff, and you do it consistently,
yeah.
you are better at knowing how much you weigh and so on and so forth. But then when you're out of that element, not in the gym or at your home and where you're next to a scale, you're kind of like, I feel I weighed this much a few days ago. It'd be nice to just be able to be
Yeah.
like, well, how much do I weigh? Oh, okay, all right, good to know.
Right, I need to tighten it up
Yeah,
today,
yes,
or
that's right.
whatever. For
Get
that
some more
reason.
celery instead of
So
ice cream.
would it be like you go on the app and turn it on kind of thing, so you can, or would it just like remind you every once in a while?
The insanity of it's like, hey, buddy, you're up 0.5.
It could
So how
just
about you?
tell you're standing at the counter somewhere, like going to order something, and it just pops up. It's like,
You know, that would be a propaganda way to develop this thing where it's like if you're in the vicinity of food, it's like, hey, buddy, this is how much you weigh.
Yeah.
So let's keep it in check. It would certainly, in our capitalist society, be turned into some sort of social currency, and you could only get desserts if your shoe scales were in check.
I mean, that's I'm sure this is the reason that part wouldn't go. Is
Oh no,
because
this is why it's bad.
people make so much money from
Yes.
this,
Oh yeah.
us doing stuff we
yeah.
shouldn't do.
You know, I was
But-
thinking about this on the drive from
Bellevue.
Omaha to Denver about from Bellevue. No, but about how like I remember growing up, people that were like absurdly thin would be like, I'm thin shamed a lot, where like people are like, you're so thin, haha, basically, right?
Fit shamed, yeah.
And
a lot of people, because I was thinner when I was younger,
Wow,
but
Monica.
was very thin for a
Uh-huh.
while. And when I would eat, and I would eat a lot,
Sure,
I was
sure.
just an athlete, and they would go, "Oh wow, you eat." I
Interesting.
can't
yes,
believe I
yes.
never
This is
even
the thin
thought you
shaming that we're
eat. And I
talking
was
about,
like,
yes.
all right, well,
Now me,
it was always never mind.
what? No, I want to hear it.
It was never another fit person.
No, never. Of
Yeah.
course not. No,
and
no.
I was like, I eventually, as an adult, I was like,
Uh-huh.
I think you're projecting some own
Yes,
insecurities,
of
and
course.
I feel good about the way I'm taking care of my body. Thank you.
Well, I, as a youngin', empathized because I'm a moderately decent person because I was like, I've been shamed for my weight. I understand being shamed for your weight sucks. But as an adult, I have felt that, like, look, there's not a medical industry built on your size, though. Like, overweight people, there's billions, if not trillions of dollars made because people are fat. The thin people aren't dealing with this type of shit.
No, there's not, and I mean, there's extremes and
Of course. I'm
disorders
not talking
and
about anorexia.
But
I'm not,
no,
of course,
no, you're right. And I mean, it's sure the health industry is a thing, but not in the shaming of
Yes,
it. Yeah,
right,
for
right,
sure.
right.
Okay,
All right, so scales in the shoes is my first dumb invention. Here's number 2. And this one I really like. When you're driving at night,
Okay.
there's no one on the road. You're just driving. empty road. Additional headlights that are projectors, so you can watch a show while you're driving home at night.
So it would be out in front of the car.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yes.
So okay, because the issue previously, which is what, because they back in our day, they used to have screens in the back of the headrest.
That's right. That's
but
right.
they could never have them up here because
Correct.
it would distract the driver. Your phones and stuff obviously are an issue.
Yes.
Some people still watching stuff
of
while
course,
they're driving.
Of course.
But the problem is then you're looking into the car instead of out in front of you. So this you're saying would alleviate that.
That's
and
right.
would put it out in front of the
You
car.
watch a show, wow, and then other people can watch too. Like that's the other
Yeah.
thing. They get to see what you're watching.
Kind of it's like a drive-in movie, but just for the car.
That's right.
Just for your car.
That's true. I mean, unless you're at a wall,
people
and
just-
then it would be.
sitting in their driveways still and like doing the drive-in movie. Like, why?
Well, for some
couldn't you just go
people,
inside?
their car speakers are the best speakers. So I'm sure
Okay,
some
maybe
people
that's
would
it.
do
You
it. Some people would,
you
yeah.
invested in a
Right.
nice sound system in your car.
I
utilize
just
that.
have had many nights where I was driving home late and I put my phone up against the windshield and put on something bad, like Storage Wars. Nothing like I'm watching like...
Nothing that you're like staring at.
Yeah,
kind
I'm
of,
not watching, The Elephant Man. I'm watching like trash, right? And I put it on the windshield and it is in reverse reflected because it's night out.
Okay.
And so I could watch, and I was like, you know what? I wish this was a projector. Because
Yeah.
that way I can avoid this whole
and it
reverse
would be
nonsense. And it's
farther
further
away
out.
too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
that's because you would still be
Yeah.
looking in the right direction.
Well, when you're
I
driving
guess.
at night, you're not really the hazards aren't like 20, 30 feet from you. It's like you're far away and you're not paying attention, and you might hit something.
Right, as soon as you.
So if you're looking at least front, you should be okay.
Yeah.
These aren't good ideas.
No, I mean, well, this is what we say on this
Sure.
show. This is for ideas. This is not for logic.
Thank you.
This is up to somebody else to take if they want to make it into something that I'm sure would result in a lot of lawsuits.
Oh yeah, But it'd be pretty fun though.
It would be fun.
You could probably do it with boats. I think if you could figure out a way to do it
Put
on the water,
water?
I think boats could implement this technology. The reality is that there are LED projectors now which are much brighter than the old school bulbs. They're very expensive, but if you can consider the brightness of an LED compared to a iridescent bulb, you can understand that like, oh, this is much brighter and will last much longer than a regular bulb. The only issue is replacing the bulb takes more effort. I mean, in projectors, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah. Well, I knew that, but you could.
Yeah, you did know.
Yeah, one of your house.
We're friends.
Yeah. And then,
Wait a
but
second,
that
you know me?
maybe it's creating jobs too, because you'd probably, if
Yeah.
it wasn't somebody like you would take it somewhere to get it,
I get take care of. Yeah, of course.
to
Yeah.
get it
Get it
switched out,
detailed.
yeah,
Yeah.
do those things. I don't know. Not too bad. I
Thank
mean,
you.
I'm sure we'll
Thank you.
run
All right,
into some
here. So now
logistical issues,
these two are the fun small adventures, but now we're at the bigger ones. Okay.
Whoa, bigger than
All right.
that. Okay.
One of these is stupid. I'm gonna let you guess which one it is. Okay. First one is when it comes to the modeling industry.
Okay.
Right now, we talk about how Photoshop creates unrealistic expectations for humans because they're taking someone that's 99% good looking and bumping them up to 110%.
Right.
Name a model who has this happened to. Blake, you can jump in if you want. Name any model if you want. Kylie Jenner's a
Any
person.
model. Okay.
Sure.
Sure.
So they take her and she's, I don't care, but like 90th percentile attractive and they make her 100%, right?
Right.
Here's my pitch.
Okay.
Fuck good-looking models as a thing. Hire ugly models
Okay.
and make the Photoshop people work harder. Right?
So you still want them to get into the 100% range.
Oh, of course.
But they would be going from, let's say, 40, 50%.
Why not? Yeah.
We need some more effort
Burn
out of
victims, get them in there.
Yeah,
Let's
okay.
get them having to enjoy the benefits of
Photoshop.
artificial performance-enhancing technology. You know what I'm saying?
You. Yeah.
I just think that if we're going to accept that this is an unrealistic standard, why are we taking...
Why not make it extra unrealistic?
Yes.
then?
Why are we taking Naomi Campbell from she was tired that day to she looked the best she's ever looked in her life?
Right, yeah.
And get a guy like me and then bump me up. You know what I mean?
Make you look
Make
like
me
Naomi
feel like, and then
Campbell.
people see me like, damn, that guy is ugly.
Well, and then maybe that's it. You know what? Because a lot of times these photographers and editors aren't getting credit.
That's right.
So you'd be like, wow, this is a great editing job.
Yeah,
here.
I think that's really where I'm trying to highlight the background technicians that are painstakingly working tirelessly. I mean, to make someone that's already good looking even better looking.
Yeah.
Right? But also it's like,
Well, it's funny because the models, the super hot models now that are getting photoshopped
Mm-hmm.
more, are almost offended by it sometimes
Yeah, of
because
course.
they're like, I still want you to see
Uh-huh.
some natural, like I've lived. I feel like that with my hair's going gray and stuff,
Mhm.
and part of me is like, okay, well, I'll probably start dyeing it eventually, but I just want to see what it looks like. But there's this thing in me that's like, I fucking worked hard for this hair, I worked hard for
Yeah.
the fact that I do look a little bit older than I used to, like I've lived in that
Right.
time.
You're proud of how you look.
Yeah, so like scars and different
Yeah.
things like
Oh,
that
yeah.
will get photoshopped out, and some people are like, why? I had cancer removed,
Sure.
or something, or
Yeah.
whatever it is. But that, yeah, and so
See, they're taking the soul out
Yeah.
of humanity.
then it really does become not a human at that
Yes.
point, because you're supposed to think that's a human, and whatever they're modeling, you're supposed to be like, oh, I could wear that too,
Yeah,
because
of
that's
course.
also
That's-
a human, but it's not anymore.
That's right.
So then if they're not, you might as well make them.
This one's an addendum to this idea, but it's not a real idea. It's all late night TV show hosts' ties should be green screen, and they just put a new
they could
pattern
put
every
different
time.
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Trying to take down the big tie.
Take it- yeah, that's right. That's right.
They're getting too much money. You just get
Polo
one
Ralph.
tie, and then you get a different pet.
It's-
Well, and then it would be easier. I do think maybe that's stressful for some men who might not be as fashion forward as you.
No, thank you.
And they, which tie is better? What goes with this? They pick the wrong tie. Everybody's like, that doesn't match with that. So then you leave it up to somebody else vaccines to go.
Yeah,
that looks better.
yeah,
with his
right,
outfit.
right. Yeah, you go out and you
Or
tell
her outfit,
the photographer, hey, look, my tie is green. You give me the best pattern that looks good in this photo. Because sometimes you're in a place and the lighting's all messed up, and your, whatever tie you got isn't as hot as you thought it was.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, how about you put houndstooth in this instead of the plaid I went with?
Yeah, definitely.
You like houndstooth? You a fan of houndstooth?
I kind of am.
Houndstooth is nice.
Honestly, I think we've talked about this before.
No,
in real
really?
life. Yeah.
Really?
Just about how much both of us liked houndstooth. But it was, maybe it's an early 2000s thing. It was popular for some reason during that time.
Yeah.
I had some houndstooth
Socks? Shoes?
no shoes, but they were Adidas Superstars.
Oh,
With
nice. Very nice.
houndstooth.
Quite nice.
And then I believe it was when I had my broken ankle, so I was in a boot,
Yes.
and I left one of them in Puerto Rico.
Oh.
So I only ever had one, and I kept just one for
You
a
kept
really
the one?
long
Oh,
time.
wow.
I don't know why. I
That's
was
not
hoping
good.
that it would show up
Yeah.
again somehow. But yeah, it's
Okay.
a good pattern. Okay, so-
Here's here's another one. This is an acting agency that their actors are some of the best actors and actresses on the world.
okay.
But their job is you're an actor and you're going for an audition and you think you can really nail it. So you hire our acting agency to flood their audition
With
and
terrible.
and get they get the job, but then our actors don't take the job, so then you can get the job.
Got it. Okay,
Yes.
so
Just-
so they're going in, because I was thinking to go the other way,
no,
where
no,
they
no.
would really tank it, so then you would stand out more.
You
But
know what?
either-
Actor's
maybe
choice. If you wanted to, you want
Separate
them,
services,
yes,
sure,
right,
for sure.
yes.
But you're saying that they would go in,
And
get
be
the
incredible,
job,
get
and
the job,
then
and then turn it down,
so that you could.
so that choice number 3 gets it. Yes. All of my
I
ideas
mean,
are good for the world, Monica.
A lot
All of them are.
I really like what you're focused on
Thank
here,
you.
and most of it is show business.
Yes,
And
that's right.
Yeah, how to get in there. That's funny. That's so interesting. Just because I feel like live auditions are nerve-wracking, right? And so, would it be helpful if you're like, maybe that's it. There's less pressure on you because you know you're not the best
That's right.
of the group,
Yeah, I mean,
then, but it's okay because they can't take them anyways.
exactly. Yes.
So.
Yeah.
But then maybe it would bring more out of you because you'd be like, well, I'm just gonna do.
Right. You got a couple of ringers in there that are working for you. And then when they turn the job down, they can be like, sorry, we can't do it. We got a movie in Cabo. But, that one dude that was in there, he's one of our favorites. You should hire that guy.
Got it.
And
Okay,
so,
so they would
yeah, they're
put in the
advocating.
good word as well.
You're not just paying for them to try and be better than you. No,
Yeah.
no. You're paying them to help you get the job.
Help you get the
Yeah.
job. That's good.
And if you don't get the job, the agency will hire you as one of our own. See,
There you go.
See, it's all cyclical.
There
It's
you
all,
go. Either
and
way,
then-
opportunity.
And then we also follow Dianetics. And so...
well, of course. If you don't know, Dianetics is the first of the books in Scientology.
Oh, really? I just saw it on Amazon. It looked like a good read.
Oh, you can get them on Amazon. You
Oh.
can get the whole pack, I think. Did I ever tell you about the time we went into the big... No, it's not the Celebrity Center, but the big Scientology building in Los Angeles?
I don't think so.
I don't know if I've told this story on here, but we couldn't find parking
Sure.
by Mitch's apartment, so we just parked there and we went in and we let him. Do you know Jackson Banks?
Yeah, I know Jackson
From,
Banks. Yeah, Utah comic. Yeah,
yes.
LA now, but yeah, of course, yeah.
Grew up in
I worked with him.
Mormon.
Yeah.
And so it's the three of us, me,
Mhm.
Mitch Burrow, and Jackson Banks. And we go in and we were like, let's let him talk to us, you know? So we're looking around and that's their job. They're trying to convince you to be involved, you know? And he was like, well, you know, is there anything in your life that you're like stressed out, you think you want to go better? Of course, everyone's going to say, yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's like talking to Mitch about it, of course. And then he's like, well, come in this room and we'll like watch some of these videos. And we watch them. And they were like, whatever. It's normal informational video.
Like religious
just like,
B-roll type of thing? Yeah.
Oh, are you having a tough time
Right,
here? Come
right,
over here and
yeah.
we'll help you with it. This is a safe space. It's going to make
Right,
you feel community, whatever. I get it. Jackson, who grew up Mormon, sitting there with his arms
Right,
crossed,
yeah.
and he goes, what about the space stuff? And the guy goes, I don't know what you've heard, but
Sure.
like, that's, you know, I'm sure it's not true kind of thing. And he's like, well, we heard about the space stuff and that's, you know. And so then he shows us another video and he was like, the guy was like, I'm sorry, like there's no space stuff. And he goes, well, then why are we here? And then he looks at him and he goes, look, I grew up Mormon. I'm cool with the space stuff.
Right.
And the guy was like, nope. This was like a week before Going Clear, that documentary came out.
Sure, yeah, of course, yeah.
So there was certain questions he kind of danced around. Like we were like,
sure.
this building's huge. Like what's in the back part? And he
Right.
goes, oh, just offices or whatever.
Sure.
Which turned out to be where they were like doing the monitoring, where they're like keeping people in there and like
of course.
torturing them essentially. But of
Oh, yeah.
course, and you know all these people, but eventually you guys will know all these people. As we were leaving, Mitch almost bought the whole thing.
Really?
It's $12 and it's like very expensive. He almost, and I was like, I get it. I know why people.
Wait. It's $12. It's very expensive. I'm confused.
12 books.
Oh, 12 books.
Yeah,
and it's
you
very
buy
I
like
see,
the
I see. My
whole
apologies.
thing
I
all
was like
together.
$12, and I was like, that's
he
not,
had Dianetics.
How much money did Mitch
or maybe
not
he
have?
just, yeah. Great question. Great question. But I was like, oh, I totally get why people, and no matter what it is, you know, just any
Sure, of
group
course, yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
religion or what ends up being a cult, you're vulnerable and you're looking for something,
Yeah.
you know, and then this thing is presented to you and it feels like it, and because I was like, no, and Jackson wasn't, but he had already kind of been through that
Yeah, yeah.
experience. And so, yeah, Mitch is ready to
Leah,
buy.
Leah Remini's Aftermath was a great watch.
Yeah.
I love her,
Yeah.
and I love Mike Rinda, the New
Yeah.
Zealand man on the show. I think that we are not exposed to the realities of cults in the United States because the more we look at them, the more we realize our financial institutions and everything around us are controlled very similarly.
Yes, and how, because you watch those documentaries and this is the end of it, not the end of it, but you know, it's been created and here's this obvious thing where you're like, yeah, of course I'm not joining that. How did you join? We look at people who were in cults or are and go, how dumb do you have to be? And it's like, no, you just have to be in a vulnerable place. These very smart people end up joining. And then it's not marketed to you as I have a joke kind of about it, but you don't just call it a cult from the get-go.
Yeah,
you
not from
just
the
say,
jump,
hey, join this group. We're all just hanging out.
Right,
It's community,
right.
whatever, which it makes sense. I think everybody's looking for that. So it always makes sense to me. But
I mean, and as stand-up
I don't even
comics,
know why we started talking
the
about
amount
that.
of work we've done that we've looked back on and be like, I didn't need to do none of that shit.
Yeah,
That's,
and
you know,
I could have for sure started a couple of cults with all the effort I put into stand-up at this point.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, God.
All right, so this is one that I actually really believe
Okay, is this the last one?
in.
Or no?
Second to last.
Okay, perfect.
This is one I really believe in, and I
Okay.
was preaching this idea pre-pandemic, and I think you'll understand why it would have been incredible afterward. You'll understand. I think, as someone who is a high school dropout, who didn't finish education and had a very tough time in that system, that all education should be in video games and at your own pace.
Okay.
I think that a company like Lego, just an example, any company should create everything from math, science, English, whatever you want to learn as a video game. And when I say that, what I mean is that, like, it shouldn't be you graduate from school and you go, I'll just get a job teaching. No. Get the top 1,000 teachers of every subject and go, hey, how would you teach this? Quantify that and put it in a game. And when a kid's stuck, hey, I don't know what's going on here. How do I do this? You know how helpful it is to use the internet for a video game? You find answers immediately, but you actually learn and figure that stuff out. And the most important thing is that people before the pandemic were like, but the social aspect of school is very important.
Mm-hmm.
The meeting with people and going in and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. How did that work out in the pandemic, huh? You know what I watched a lot in the pandemic? I watched a lot of videos of people doing Zoom PE.
Yeah.
All right? No. This is a broken, archaic system. No kid should be getting up at 6 to go to school. This is horse. Why are we forcing them to live a work schedule before they have jobs? It makes no sense. I watched I think it was like a 7-year-old kid do his Zoom PE final, and he was just doing laps in his living room. And on the third lap, he just looked at the camera like this. Like he was like, this is the stupidest thing that's ever existed, right?
I mean, PE was a tough one for sure.
Yeah.
As someone who was, the remote learning facilitator during that
Sure.
time for my stepson, it's more and more obvious to me that school, especially for younger kids, is mostly for them to leave.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's for the parents.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, of course.
That has a lot to do with it. I don't hate it, or at least integrating more of that actual,
I was sick as a kid.
Obsessed with, anyways. But
I was sick a lot as a kid, and so when you miss a day, you don't have the fundamentals to get back on track. I mean, you do, but you remember being sick from school and you're home a day, and if you're actually sick or faking whatever, but you go the next day and kids are like, oh, it's good to see you, and the teacher's like, all right, we're doing all this, and you're like, I don't know what they're doing.
I miss that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just saying for that specific situation, give kids something to do. Hey, here's a video game. You're going to learn doing it.
Yeah.
Kids love video games. I'm
That
just
is
saying,
true.
you mix video games in school, and maybe the kids won't drool. I don't know why I need to make that rhyme.
They needed a slogan.
I need a slogan, yeah.
That's pretty. I mean, I don't hate it. I will say they do a lot of more computer stuff now than we ever did.
That's
for
true.
sure.
Yes.
But if it's all, and that's maybe the things that they're not understanding quite as well would be better conveyed in a video game. However, you're still gonna run into issues with choice making.
With choice making?
Yeah, our son had, which this was the least issue we've had with him on the screen. It's not that big a deal, but it just comes up, And at school they had a Minecraft game, but it's a Minecraft education, so they can play it during their free time or whatever. I don't really understand the difference, but there's a chat function,
right?
Which maybe that's it. Don't have a chat function might be a good start, but he put what the hell in the chat, which of course my wife and I were like, whatever. But but then he got it taken away for the rrest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be swearing. Yeah. What is this podcast?
So would you have fuck no. Oh. Would you have a what do you call it? Moderator of the game? Would the teachers still be moderating the games type of things and watching their
because
progress?
Look, I mean, if you don't know this, when you're bad in a video game, like when you're in a racing game and you accidentally get turned around and are going that direction. In Mario Kart, a cloud comes. It's like, hey, turn around, buddy.
You're going the wrong way.
Hey, this isn't working. Yeah, you're gonna need some of that.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that. I understand when I say this, the majority of people that are educators view it as if I'm saying you can use Pong to teach numbers. I get that it seems insane, but I'm just saying
we're not
that
talking about video games that we have now. We're talking about these are created specifically as a progression.
Yeah, 100%. Because I played Master Blaster and a few of those games that were not terrible. I mean, there was one where it was you did math questions and it allowed you to get enough bullets to shoot trash in space.
Yeah, that was I played Reader Rabbit when I was little. It was on a floppy disk when I was little, a lot.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I get,
So game technology has jumped up almost 1,000,000,000,000% since when we were playing it, right?
So we need the educational part of it to jump up that much.
And it's look, you want to keep regular school, I got nothing against that. But the amount of children that are left behind because they can't maintain a schedule where they can go on every day. Honestly, the biggest problem with my idea is the lack of internet and computers for kids. I mean, I know that in this country it's not as big of a problem, but in general in the world, everyone ain't got electricity and computers at their disposal. Most a large population does, but in every idea I have, it's about how do you improve it for everyone involved? Because to have a future that works, everyone has to be
Philanthropist
a
with
part.
your bad ideas. It's
What was
good.
that?
You're a lot of philanthropy with your bad
I mean,
ideas. Here.
look, if a bad idea can't be good for the world, is it
No,
really a
it's
bad
fine.
idea?
My first thought, and it's always very morbid, but this is what I think about with teachers in schools, is that less people get shot
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
in that
Oh,
situation. If we're like,
yeah.
we're doing it at home on
Yeah.
the video game, school shootings aren't a
Right.
thing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was reading some Reddit thing about someone who was in a neighborhood and the kids were messing around, and one kid was just going in the garages breaking shit. He was just doing that, right? And then she noticed that he got kicked out of his house when his dad got mad at him, and then she used to chalk on the sidewalk. And was like, "You want some chalk?" And he was like, "No." And like mean, but he would still watch.
Mm-hmm.
And after like a couple of weeks, she got him like a notebook and a pen. He's like, "Here, you can have this." And apparently his brother drew, and then he started drawing, and then loved it, and then wasn't breaking shit anymore because he could actually do what he liked to do.
Something that
right?
he liked, yeah.
And I think that the whole the idle hands or the devil's plaything, whatever type of thing. I'm just trying to give an option to kids that look at how school is built and go, fuck that noise.
Yeah.
And if you could learn all of math from, let's say, arithmetic to calculus from a video game, and a kid's running through that, and you go, this one's good at math early enough, you could train that person to go, okay, these are your options because you're good at that. Whereas right now we go, let's move everyone up slowly like a gas tank and give them a well-rounded education, and then when they're finished, not really have enough of an understanding of what they're best at.
Yeah.
They might have like, I got A's in this and B's and C's in that, but it's like this system is not worth. I also think kids should not have summers. I don't think they should. I don't think they should get
You're
summers off.
like, no summers, video games
I
all
just
the
think
time.
3 months off, a kid goes, I don't know what we remember last
Especially
year.
the younger they are, the
Yeah.
more it's tough for us. We have him read
I'm
all
coming
the
for you
time.
summers, kids.
He reads every day, no matter what.
No
We're
Christmas
on vacation.
break.
Doesn't
No
matter.
sugar after 9 p.m.
But we forgot to do most of the math last year,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
it really affected his scores when they
Yeah,
came
of
back to
course,
school.
of
You know,
course,
now he's
yeah.
back to where he was, but it was a struggle, and so but that puts it on us to, which not every parent wants to do because it's summer
Okay,
break,
yeah, of
right?
course, yeah.
Or can, yeah. And so reading is easy because we just read
Mhm.
for half an hour,
Mhm.
fine. But now I got to buy him like one of those little summer brain quest
Right,
books or
right,
whatever for
sure.
5th grade, so that
Supplemental
he
education
Yeah.
to fill in the gaps.
yes, which is fine, and we do that. But not everybody can, and you're right. So there's a video game that kept them going. They have some stuff on the computer that they use now. We do what's called iReady. And so they have, which I do believe you can still use during the summer. But
All I'm saying is I want a system where if a kid doesn't want to do school, they can just go straight to this. We don't need you to do none of that.
okay.
All right, one quick idea, and then I'll do my last thing. You know how they have those candy oranges, the ones that are like coated in sugar and they're gummies?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Just candy up the rest of the fruits and vegetables as well. You know?
Okay.
Let me get a candied pineapple. Like, not a full one, but like, a little
Yeah.
I want more candy.
I'm trying to think of all other fruits that would be.
Apples, strawberries,
Ooh, strawberries. good.
berries, blue,
Almonds,
black,
raspberry,
and poison.
Marion.
But I could put carrots in there. I don't care. I'll
True,
I'll
it's
eat
sweet enough. I was
celery.
thinking tomato at
Tomato,
first,
yeah,
but
why
that's
not? Yeah, of course, a
'cause
little-
technically everyone's like, oh, it's a fruit. Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Tomato, the bisexual of the fruit and vegetable world.
That's my favorite
What is
food.
it? What is it? And then lastly, this is maybe the dumbest idea I have, but my merch on the A Lion with No Pride tour is pecan butter. I roast it and grind it myself.
Okay.
And I have some here for you to try if you'd like some.
Okay. Well,
this
heck
is
yeah, we got to see how this goes.
Made from
Blake has
my
chopsticks for
kitchen
me.
to Monica Nevi's mouth. She'll be eating it with a chopstick because I didn't bring any utensils.
That's okay. Luckily, Blake's here for. Okay. Let's Paliwal's pecan butter. Nicely. Ooh.
PPB.
Lovely package. How is
Um,
it going so far on the tour? Are you
I'm sold out.
selling-
This is it.
Oh, this is the last
Is
one.
it? Yeah.
Do that. It's very fancy. Okay.
I grind them. I roast them myself. It's delicious. What do you think?
That's freaking delicious.
It's really nice,
Yeah,
right?
More. I'm gonna put my mouth back in.
My instinct with this is that there's a lot of peanut butters and butters that have a lot of preservatives, Jif being the most notorious. It's delicious, but it's poison. And then you have a bit
Is
more.
this doing like a weird ASMR thing? Am I eating directly into
No,
the
you're fine.
microphone?
No, I can't hear it. Audience,
You're
you let
like,
me know.
it's fine. I
From
can't
me,
hear
I don't
it.
give a fuck. I want you to eat more of it.
Well, good,
But
'cause I'm
there's
going to.
and there's the healthy stuff like Adams where you got to mix in the oil and stuff,
Right.
and that's like kind of flavorless. I wanted something in between. It's not supposed to be super healthy. It's not supposed to be. There's no preservatives. I'm not Jif. I'm not Skippy. I'm not Peter Pan. I'm Paliwal's pecan butter.
It's delicious, and it's still, it almost tastes like there's like a cinnamony kind of, it's like a dessert more. It's giving me like, the cookie butter or
That's right,
like
yeah.
Nutella or something
Biscoff
that's
cookie
like
butter,
a
yeah.
fun, that's like a fun, like more of a treat too. I mean, obviously you can
It's
make a
great
sandwich
on
with it if you
bread
want,
and
but
crackers, but one of the things I tell people is try it on ice cream. Vanilla ice cream with that,
sounds delicious.
fuck your life up.
I'm gonna stop eating it eventually. I promise.
I roast them with butter, salt, sugar, some smoked paprika. Go ahead, Blake, if you want.
use my
And then I grind them with 5 sweeteners: coconut oil, maple syrup, muscovado, brown sugar, and a secret one. No, I think I said all of them. And Blake, what do you think? Good. 1 out of 10. Be honest with me, Blake. I'm running a business here.
1 to 10. What do you got? I would say.
Oh, he's in a pretty good chunk, yeah.
I mean, it really is.
Yeah, he's really good, yeah. All right, so how much would you pay for that jar, Monica? It's a tiny jar. It's about 2 to 3
And
ounces.
we're doing after shows.
Just in general, how much would you pay for that
How
jar?
much would I
Yeah.
feel like, because the only other place you're going to probably find this would be at like a farmer's market or something.
They don't make
right?
it.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like
Oh, I see what you're
something
saying. Yeah,
like
sure, yeah.
this,
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm squishing it around. I don't know, 10.
Well, guess what?
15?
You come up to me after a show, you want pecan butter, I'll sell it to you for 5. That's right.
Ooh,
Yeah.
$5 for that delicious.
That's right. He's got 5 right there.
You
Blake,
can
I'll get you a jar. Yeah, I'll get you one. Yeah, of course, yeah.
I'll take that. It's not this kind of show, Blake.
Anyway, if you see me doing stand-up and you are interested in pecan butter, send me a message, and I will be making more in Seattle during my shows out here.
Do you ship them at all? Or
I'm not shipping them just yet, but if you are intrigued with this and you send me a message, I will ship you a jar. Just pay for shipping and handling, and tell me what you think about it, and post it or something, and I will take care of you. It is still in the early stages of me producing it, but I'll probably start selling it at Farmers Market in New York once I get back in June.
Put it on stuff, or Blake and I recommend just eat it with chopsticks.
The way I look at it is I want to go to Farmers Market with a piece of bread, put it on that, and cut it up, and give it away for free, and then charge $2 for milk.
Everyone,
Milk's $2.
everyone loves a good sample,
Yeah.
Of
course.
Really delicious. That's good. And solid. We've had a few other like merch ideas on here, and most of them are jokes or something, but the follow through and the commitment to it I appreciate, because I think the first time you let me try some was 2018.
That sounds about right.
And it was really good, but I do think this is delicious.
Better,
It's really nice. So
honey's the ingredient I didn't mention earlier.
there you go.
Look, I'm not trying to make something that I'm holding as a secret like Coca-Cola. I will tell you how to make it if you want to make it on your own. But my main motive is that if you see my stand-up and you get some pecan butter from it, you'll hopefully go, wow, I really had a great experience, and now I have this delicious treat with me for the next handful of days. And at the end of the day, I just want people
to... In the car.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, go for it. I should really bring crackers. But then, you know what? Crackers, sometimes you can taste more of the cracker than that. I want people to just go for what it tastes like.
Yeah.
Blake gets it. Blake understands. Blake gets my unpreparedness as it's purposeful.
I know. If people were to come and see you, what do you have coming up, and how can they follow you and stuff so they can
all my tour dates are on yogipaliwal.com, spelled like it sounds, and I'll be at the Rendezvous May 27th at 9 p.m. It's that Sunday. I think I got that date wrong. It doesn't matter. It's May 28th. But I'll be in Seattle doing shows. If you want me on a show, go ahead and book me. The club owners do not want me.
They're trying to get this pecan butter out here.
They can't handle a man selling nut butter at their stage.
Nut butter? Oh my gosh. Okay, well, thank you so much for being on here. Make sure you follow Yogi. Go see him live. Get some pecan butter. It's delicious. If you haven't already, you can subscribe here on YouTube or anywhere you are listening to the podcast. We also have YouTube memberships if you want to get these episodes a day early and extra behind the scenes stuff. I just put up a whole 20 plus minute video of stand-up crowd work. That's only for members only though. So check it out, do it. And right now you can just keep watching Dumb Pitches.
You're weird.
Yes.